Hey, it's prime. We're 3 balls in and we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route. Mighty gets a scoring. Oh, and PJ start to scout. Your rhyme's really trash. What do you think he's damn fouls? TBI the show, so buckle down, sit back. And Jay we trust, cause he's the leader of the pack. It's prime, Jupiter.
This is TBI, 3 balls in alongside Dave and Logan. This is PJs. We are back at it again. A little bit of a somber week as the Cronies have lost their starting quarterback. We do have a special guest this episode, and we're going to preview League Week number 4. Maybe all teams play, maybe some teams play, maybe no teams play, but you know what? It's League Weeks, and we're excited. What's up, boys?
Nothing. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Wow, we're in church right now.
Wow.
There we go, the New Year's. The New Year's.
New Year, new day.
That's it.
New church.
All right. Logan, what's up?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Well, one thing we do know for sure, 2 teams are not playing this week.
Okay.
Regardless of what happens, we know for sure 2 teams are not playing. Lionhearts and Dogs will be playing at a future date. They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They should play Tuesday night, by the way. But regardless,
That's a fantastic
the field is available. But forget about that.
Fantastic
They'll figure out when to reschedule the game. So we know we've got 2 teams not playing, but the other 4 are hopefully playing, and I'm excited to dive into it.
Of course, it's a little bit of somber, like I mentioned. Gronk, season-ending injury on a non-contact play in a regular Jubal week. A game in which he was struggling actually a little bit with the wind. Prey and Mighty on the same team, and Zada as well, picking off passes left and right. And Prey obviously gets a big victory, 6-0. Goldberg, admirable job coming in to play quarterback. Kuti also had a little bit of an appearance at quarterback. Mike did not. Storm was in a different game. Mike did not get a shot at quarterback, although I don't think it would have helped at that point. But here we are. We lost Gronk, and this is a huge, huge loss for Jubal. Huge, huge loss for the Cronies. They were honestly, this was the premier matchup of the week, Cronies versus Bop. And now that matchup does not look like the same matchup it was going to be. So I don't know what's going to happen.
It's disappointing. Look, obviously, we love Gronk. We love to see him on the field. He's an impact player, both offensive, defensive, whether at quarterback, whether at tight end, whether wide receiver, obviously free safety, middle linebacker. He is a difference maker on the field, and Jubal is worse without him. First and foremost, Gronk, heal up, get better. We know you're going to be back next season, but we're here for you, brother, but it sucks, right? So that sucks. But leagues go on. Jubal goes on.
I feel like if only we had somebody to give Gronk like a big hug. Like, I feel that's what he needs right now.
So you think like maybe someone like Tom or Bert or
I don't know, like a big hug for the week.
a big hug. So maybe someone like
Goldberg.
Snow.
Oh, no, Goldberg.
BD.
Oh,
He's been making a lot of appearances recently.
you know what? Maybe we could get it Prey to have a segment to come in and give hugs.
Hug makers. That's
Yeah.
it, hug makers. Let's do that.
That's
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
There we go. But obviously, we wish Gronk the best. All right, moving on along. Storm, happy birthday to Storm. Got an appearance at quarterback, and ironically threw a touchdown to Yaron. So there you go on his birthday, New Year's Day. Or New Year's Eve. I'm sorry. What an opportunity to do that. And okay, Stormy quarterback. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
What can he do? Storm is him.
Storm is him. I mean, look, right. He was
reigning
MVP,
defending MVP. All right, let's move into it. League week number 4. Let's talk about the game that is happening, that we know is happening. It's the Crocs versus the Cobras, and a huge comeback as Perla, White Goodman, is taking his Cobras, hopefully leading them to victory, as it was kind of a debacle the last game against Bop. But here we are. Cobras are back. They're going against the Crocs, the 2-1 Crocs, who are vying for second place, maybe can move up into first place if the Bop Crony game has something to say about it. But right now,
we still have the tiebreak.
Or any other games later in the season. It doesn't.
But either way, this is a big game for the Crocs. Logan, let's break it down. What do you got for this game?
Yeah, we talk about the different areas. I think Snow, again, the different areas, right? We break it down. So we've got the quarterback, the line, and the wide receivers. Starting with quarterback, Snow consistently puts up 4 freaking touchdowns every time he steps on the field. And unfortunately for the Cobras, I don't know that they could put up 5 touchdowns. So I'm gonna say that Snow right now is gonna be the lead over there. Ironically enough, I don't really think that Perla plays defense. You got two quarterbacks here who are not playing defense. It will not necessarily impact the game on that side of the field. But right now, I'm going to give the leg up to the Crocs on that one. Moving on to the line. So the Crocs, they've got Kuti, Dobbs, Tom, and Sam versus Solo, Spira, and Whiskey and Walls.
Yeah.
Oh, Walls.
Yeah.
He plays line. Whiskey can give hugs while Walls plays line. It's perfect. Anyway, that is actually a really nice matchup there.
Great matchup line.
That is going to be a battle all day. I do see Solo taking over a little bit and potentially causing issues for Snow. So I'm going to give the edge there to the Cobras. I'd have to look back at my notes, and I apologize for not having it, but has there been a week where I haven't said that the Cobras have the advantage on line? Maybe against Cronies, but they have a great line. And then moving to wide receiver. So you got Zin, Rook, BK, and Veg versus Goldberg, Sharf, aka Sheriff, MK, and Mike. I think this one, it's so hard to pick against Zin. Zin is playing at a high level. I don't know what the first couple of weeks happened with Zin. He may have been fine, but he just wasn't putting up the stats. But now he's definitely fine, and he's definitely putting up the stats. It's very, very hard to pick against Zin. So I'm going to give the leg up to the Crocs in this one. I just think Snow puts up his 4 touchdowns again. And so for picking this game, I see this being a 4-1 victory for the Crocs.
Davo.
We have liked to give Cobra some credit. Like you said, they have a great line. And they have good players, Goldberg, MK, Solo. But here's the problem with them. They're only a good team as constructed when all of their players showed up.
That's true.
Show up on time.
All time.
But here's the problem with that. They have yet to bring a full team. One game, Sharf was missing. The other game,
Perla
was missing. The other game, someone else was missing. So they haven't been able to construct this team as it was drafted. Now, hopefully they'll have their whole team there this Sunday, which actually gives them a secondary, which they've yet to have. You're talking about MK, Goldberg, Mike, Sharf.
Right, meaning you allow the players to play the position that they play best.
Correct. Which also allows Solo to really stay on the line, which he is best at. And not only is he best at, he's probably the most dominant physical specimen in Jubal right now. Yeah, I know legs, we don't get it. But Solo is an unstoppable beast. That being said, on the other side, speed kills. BK, Rook, Zin. I don't know if Veg is fast, but I just feel like I need to mention him anyways. Veg, they are all faster than the fastest guy.
Dobbs, come on.
Did you just tag him?
I did. Somebody at Veg, while you're watching this, Jordan's gonna watch it and he's gonna tag him live feed, like on his Twitter. No.
Oh, you mean like when he live tweets his watching of the show? Got it.
So I think their speed is just gonna be too much, even for Solo to get to Snow fast enough. I think Solo will do some damage. You might see like a few interceptions caused by Solo, but like you said, I think Snow actually throws more than 4 touchdowns. I think he's going to throw 5.
Oh, that is more than 4.
And I'm going to say like a 5-2 victory.
Wow. Well, I got to go opposite you guys because I love me an upset. And I'm calling the upset here. I feel like Perla's coming back, a man on a mission, and he wants to show everybody this Cobra team ain't folding. He's going to rally his troops with Goldberg and Solo. I think these guys are going to come out rough and tough against the Crocs. I think they're going to muscle themselves in this game. It's going to be a low-scoring defensive matchup. I'm going 3-2. I think Snow throws a couple picks in this game. Goldberg ends up, I think, with a pick 6. I'm calling it right here.
You think weather's a factor?
Weather is for sure going to be a factor in this game as well, with rain and who knows with wind and the cold. So I'm going low scoring. I think Perla somehow gets himself a touchdown to Sharf as well. Sheriff. And Mike, I think, ends up in the end zone as well with a touchdown. I think it's a 3-2 victory. hard-fought game, but I think the player of the game, maybe the stats won't show it in terms of touchdowns. I think Solo ends up with 8 sacks in this game.
8?
I think he's going to eat up Kuti in this game. I think Kuti's going to have a couple of those, what do we call it when the offensive lineman messes up the snap?
The bird fumble.
The bird fumble. I think we're going to have a bunch of bird fumbles. So Solo is going to make Kuti shake in his boots in this game. I think this is the game we've been waiting for Solo all season long. It's going to happen in this one.
What you're saying is you're going to hear the Knishes rattling.
I'm going to hear a lot more than Knishes rattling. All right.
You think he would understand that the trend is that Snow will throw a minimum of 4 touchdowns every game.
Minimum. He only throws 4 touchdowns. Not more, not less.
Well, picks.
All right. Let's move into another game that may be happening this week, which is the Bop Crony game. Like you mentioned before, Cronies are without their starting quarterback, but this game is looking like it might be played this Sunday. Is there any chance in the world the Cronies pull out a victory against Bop, Davo?
I mean, sure. Well, let's talk about the Bop versus the Crony game, because I think there's only one Crony left on the team at this point. They're all hobbling.
Right. It's singular Crony. It's not multiple.
But listen, obviously, any given Sunday is possible. Bop comes in. This Sunday, I think just in general, it's been a hard time to get players to be coming down this Sunday. There's a lot of sitter plays, Humish play time. Winter break is almost getting there. Injuries are catching up. We're now halfway through the season. So not just Cronies are injured, not just Bop, Dogs, Crocs, Lionhearts. I think everyone is just it's just reaching that time where it's like, am I resting? Am I pushing through it, etc. I don't think I don't think the Cronies have enough. I don't want to say people on the field, but enough,
there is a chance they literally don't have enough people on the field.
I don't think they have enough to stand with a Bop team that is really, really chugging along right now. It's a well-oiled machine. Prey, like we spoke last week, is, if not the MVP, right in that neck and neck battle with Mighty for MVP. So you're talking about he's leading this team. You're talking about Yonio's rookie of the year. DK is a guy that we didn't mention for most improved, but he's actually having a fantastic season. Last year, I think he was overhyped a little bit because he was drafted so early, but he's coming in and he's rocking it this season. Cronies do have a good line, and as Logan's going to say, I think every week matchup, Bop has an inferior line, and somehow we still keep playing amazing. I'm not going to go so crazy to score, maybe like a 70-12, 70-6.
So does that, Dave, does that mean you're predicting like 140-42 or something? Or what?
No. Let me do some calculations. Maybe like a 10 or 11 to 1 or 2.
Logan, you want to break down this game a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to break down the game by position when we're not exactly sure who is lining up on one side. Again, this is one of those games where we had mentioned at the beginning of the season, can Bop show up all healthy? I think this is a game where they are taking advantage of the schedule. They're facing a team that is down their best player and has a handful. I didn't.
So you're taking advantage of the way the schedule fell out. Yeah,
I'm just like,
so you happen to be playing a team this week, middle of the season.
That's very vulnerable.
It's very hard to break down this game because we're not exactly sure who the Cronies are going to be able to field. They have a handful of injuries that we're all fully aware of. Obviously, I'm going to go with Prey as the head, as the leading quarterback. Quite frankly, he could be playing against anyone in this league, and I would probably pick Prey. Gronk, ironically enough, had he been healthy, might have been the one person who I might have said might have been able to be a contender for a head-to-head, but reality is that Prey does everything really, really well. So obviously the advantage is going to go to Bop there. On the line, Cronies have a great line, and those guys are going to be showing up this week, hopefully, although who knows if Open's wife is giving birth even right now. But assuming that they have...
Talk about open legs.
Yeah, if they have their healthy line, I would give the advantage to the Cronies on line. And then wide receivers is wide open there. I would say that, the
Storm and Zada versus
Yonio
and Tabak.
Yeah, this is Okay, so Ivry is not going to be playing, and Prime is not playing. Again, we've talked about Bop. Can they field an entire team staying healthy? Quite frankly, this is Bop taking advantage of the schedule, and honestly, I think Ivry's doing the right thing. He's saving games, hours, whatever it is, to play in a game where that Bop probably will be challenged a little bit harder than they will this week. So I'll still give the advantage to the Bop, even though that I would say 2 of their top 4, if you will, wide receivers won't be there. But again, I do think without Cronies showing up with a team that has the same type of chemistry that Bop does, as we know, Bop has a ton of chemistry. I think it'd be very, very hard for the Cronies to win this one. I do think that they'll, put up a valiant effort and that they'll show up and play. But I do see this being a very, very one-sided game. It might even be like a 7-1 game.
This has a feeling of a look past them on the schedule type of game. And this is where I think Bop's going to walk in here thinking to themselves, we got this one before the game even starts. Listen, we don't know who the Crony quarterback is going to be. We don't know how this game is. The weather is going to impact this game. But did you all see the game that Daxi just had where he legitimately took the ball out of your own hand, picked him off, and returned it for a pick 6? You're talking about what Open's been doing this season. You're talking about the Crony line, and you have doubts that they can get to Prey. I don't got any doubts there. The way Zada's been playing defense, the way Storm's been playing defense. Listen, I'm a Crony, so I'm not picking against my team. I don't care that Gronk is hurt, although it is a huge loss for us, like major loss for us. Perennial MVP of the season, by the way. We didn't mention that in the last episode, but he was going to be perennial MVP or up there in the conversation with his stats and the way he's been playing. And we don't know how the rest of the season would have gone. I'm not picking against the Cronies. And listen, at the end of the day, we don't know what the weather is going to be like.
He loves a good underdog.
Here's the thing. I really feel like Bop, as great as they are, and I'm not taking anything away from them, I really feel like they're looking past this game, and I think they're fully confident. I'm not saying they should be confident. I'm just saying they're undefeated. This has a look past me game. I think somehow the Cronies, and I don't have a score for you, I think somehow the Cronies eke out a crazy, you don't even expect it type of victory because the heart of the Crony doesn't lose. That's what it comes down to.
PJ, you do realize that you just picked Cobras and 4 Cronies to win.
Somehow Peaches can go 0-3 this week. And there's only 2 games.
Quite frankly, I would root for the Cronies, but the only way that I see them winning this game is if Prey comes down with the flu again.
All right, well, guys, it's been a kind of a lacking season for us in terms of guests, but this guest we have this week is one in which I don't even know how you even introduce this person.
Oh, I don't know. You start with a hug.
Every sports league has someone who oversees their game. You have someone recognizable at the NBA like Adam Silver, well-liked amongst the players, amongst fans. You have someone like Roger Goodell, who's basically hated by players, owners, and fans. And you got a guy like Gary Bettman, who I don't think is still the commissioner. I think he's gone, but everyone assumes he still is the commissioner because he's been there forever. But Jubal has a commissioner who not only is he loved and beloved and consistently and constantly improving the game of Jubal, but he's legitimately the cult leader. So it is with my honor.
What cult are you talking about?
There's only one cult I'm talking about. It is
45. Oh,
Jubal.
We're not a cult.
It is our pleasure to introduce the one and only, the commissioner who makes Jubal what it is, Jordan J. Pillar.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, Commish?
Good. Great to be here. Thanks for doing the show.
Welcome to the
tonight
basement.
and generally. Yeah, I actually always thought the show was in a basement. It's in a very nice room. This couch is much bigger in real life than it looks on the show.
Much bigger in real life.
Yeah, everything in Logan's house is bigger in real life. Everything.
This couch is definitely a shower.
All right, give us your mid-season report here on the state of Jubal. Given the fact that we are halfway through the season, I think we have to make up Jubal week number 8. But for the most part, we are at the midpoint of the season. We did our award show last week, highlighting who we think might be the early runners for the awards. But just in general of how the game has been this season, how are you feeling about Jubal in the 23-24 season?
I thought you might ask me that, so I gave it some thought. I think historically, the games themselves, if you're talking about the game quality of games, they sort of mesh together over time. You could have a great. I mean, I know there's certain people like Yaron, honestly, who remembers games.
Not just games, plays.
Right, plays. And there are guys like that. That's happens to be not me. I do remember a game here and there standing out, but I could see, on the videos, this is the greatest game, I'm saying it. Like, this is one of the greatest games in Jew Bowl history, and I can't even remember any of the games that I said that about. So I judge it really by rookies that can define it in my mind, and, events. So when I think about our Jew Bowl season, I have to think about it. I think about Sheriff, and I think about Mike, and I think about Iceman, and I think about Daxie, and I think about Ross, Fox,
BK.
for league games. Who?
BK.
Oh, BK and Spira, even the season that Spira came back. We can't lose these storylines. And when you think about those 7-8 guys, whoever came down, even Salmon, who was like a rookie, but he reffed last week for us. And then you think about the rookies from the past few seasons. So that's how you can judge a season, and it's like, wow, we're doing amazing. And then you have the events, whether it's the brisses or the parties. So those will allow me to differentiate the season. And when I think about that, I think the season's unbelievable.
It's interesting. Like, there are things that make Jew Bowl special, right? So and to me, it's a lot of things that happen outside of Jew Bowl, right? So you mentioned whether it's the brisses, the Hanukkah parties, the wedding we're going to throw for Beast, whatever. Yeah. Like, the things outside of Jew Bowl are the things to me that make, even the chat itself, are the things that make it special. However, all of it is the essential piece of it is the football. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the thing that we necessarily think about or focus on, but sure. If we're not playing good football, none of the rest of it matters. And we are so blessed. Like, think about the level of the fact that we have this running joke stacked. Like, you wouldn't say that if the team weren't stacked. It would almost be like a slap in the face. You'd almost be making fun of the people who are playing if it wasn't freaking true. And like that, I think, kind of goes to it as well. Of like the state of Jew Bowl. We just had like, Bray got injured. Gronk is now injured. We've seen you're injured. Like, we've seen some of our top tier talent get injured, and still, like, the level of football has not dropped a bit. And that, I think, also goes to talk about the where Jew Bowl is compared to where it might have been 5, 10. Who knows? You guys obviously can talk better to it, but that many years ago, like, you lose 2 top players, and you're like, oh my god, like, we're not Prime moves away. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, okay, we're done. Like, we're not playing anymore. But here we are. Like, we've got a plethora of quarterbacks, and we're lucky.
Yeah. Embarrassment of riches.
Yeah.
It's
That's good.
I have like a ritual, like, when I make the teams on Friday or whenever it is. Yeah, I do Coke. I do like 5 lines of Coke, and then I take out a couple of highlighters, and the highlighters is true. And then I look at the teams and I go, okay, quarterback.
Jordan, randomizer does it. It's not you.
No.
Here's the guys. Big reveal.
The randomizer.
I am the randomizer. No big reveal on TBI this week.
Drugs and randomizes that. And then
No, basically I do a lot of drugs with the sign up in front of me, and I wake up like 3 hours later. The teams are made somehow, and there's blood all over So I you do receivers first, and then the linemen and all this, and you're like, oh my god, I forgot about, like, and you realize, I cannot believe I've gone through top receivers, second receivers, third receivers, and all these guys are awesome.
Right.
And like, you never get to like that. Used to be like you gave out like 2 players and the rest of them were bad. And you're like, oh, I'll give 4 bad players to them, 4 bad players to them, and that's it. And now it's like,
or like one good QB.
Right.
One QB had to have all the good receivers or whatever it was.
Yeah. It was like you had to reverse it. And now it's like down to the 7th player. It's competitive. So.
We used to have guests in all the time, and last year especially we did this. We always asked them, what do you think about leagues, this and that. So now that we have you here as the commissioner of leagues, what would you think? Again, we're not going to hold you to this because this is not necessarily concrete, but what would you think would be a way to improve leagues for next season? Is there any rules that you would think about implementing? Any kind of standing structure, team structures, etc.
I think what we could do is we could have one person who's impartial come down and decide that they would spot where the ball is. They could decide if a receiver was in or out, touchdown or not touchdown. Like, this way, there's no arguing. And Look, if people argue, maybe you give them like some kind of foul or something like that.
Yeah,
Maybe like 3 strikes
technical.
and you're out or something. But like that might be a really nice way to enhance leagues.
And Logan,
That's a good
Logan, don't forget the 30-second walk off the field conversation between the two players who are, in disagreement with the call.
Hey, no one's ever done that yet.
Yeah, I know, seriously,
I
right?
know. Dax keeps waiting. No, like the truth is, it's funny because they try out things in the minor leagues to see if they bring them to the majors.
Right.
We're trying out things in league season to see if we're going to bring it up to league season next year.
Trying out we're trying it out on the 3rd game.
Right. So all those things,
Fantastic, man.
all those things we're
Fantastic.
trying out for next year. And I heard. No, we're actually trying to do is we're trying to see if there are other Klinkwitz brothers because I heard there are.
There's like 8 of
Yeah, we're basically going to have this thing called the Klink ref,
The Klinks.
and basically any Klinkowitz can come down and ref.
Love it.
Yeah, thanks. I know, for real. Next year, I mean, I think leagues are. It feels like we're a little bit suffocated by them right now. I don't know why. It just feels I think because we started the season late.
I think they're like a lot of back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
for sure.
we're bunching them in too much, and I think they're kind of taking over a lot of the storylines, which some people like. But like, hopefully next season, there's no huge war at the beginning, and we have a normal draft party, and we can start off the season on time, and then we can spread out leagues more. So that would be nice because I feel like
Do you think that the snake draft worked?
yeah, the teams. Listen, Perlo, we gotta talk, but like the snake draft worked.
Did.
But I think the drafting, just because I feel bad Cobras is not competitive yet, but tomorrow, I mean Sunday they
DJ
can play.
thinks that they'll be 1 and 2.
I love a team like that. I'm a huge underdog guy, so I really hope they win.
By the
Sunday.
way, there's a ton of disparity in the league. You just Prey is playing unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like
I don't know. Don't listen to Dave. Pop is fine. They're fine. They're a beatable
they're a really
team.
good team. They're definitely beatable. But I'm saying
Yeah,
they're a good
They're
team.
good. They're good. They won a bunch of games, but like, I wouldn't bet against any team. See how it goes. Yeah, I think the snake worked. I think you do. I think
I think this season, had it not been Snake, would have been disaster.
yeah, if you have any more, like I said, if you have any more than 4 teams, you got to do snake.
So Mighty was definitely right.
No, Mighty was wrong.
Shout out
Mighty
Mighty.
wanted to do snake with 4 teams, and that would have been wrong. So
There you go.
That's an interesting take. I don't
What?
know that it would have been wrong, but
I think this year, for the most part, you also had everybody drafted pretty much correctly. Meaning there was no sudden movements of players in rounds that they had no
oh, you were also watching season 1, episode 2, huh?
I'm
I think the coolest thing about the teams in the draft this year that totally gets overlooked because he did it so seamlessly. I'm barely giving him any credit for this. Is that Snow is really competitive, and that is such a storyline that like we're just glossing over when certain people. Oh, he actually coughed to identify himself. Said that he wasn't really going to play. You really didn't believe that he would come back this strong, and he did. I mean, why would you believe? I didn't believe it.
He's literally throwing 4 touchdowns.
It's right, literally. It's just words until he does it, and he did it. And you know what? I mean, you got to give him so much credit because he worked. I mean, talk about Gronk. Gronk, you want inspiration? Look at Snow.
He worked.
And here's the best part about Snow. When you talk to him, he's like, I'm not even where I want to be. Like,
Right.
I'm still working.
I love that when Weeder came down, he's like, "Oh my god, that guy's playing!" Like he's like, my last game 10 years ago was against Snow, and it was a nice moment because he didn't know Snow was going to be there, and he sees Snow winning again, beating him.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Leader, if you're watching and you need inspiration to think to come, just look at Dove Snow.
Everyone look at Snow for inspiration.
Sure. All right, Jordan, before we let you go, there's one thing I wanted you to bring up to us. There's a new initiative you're trying to bring to Jubal Nation. Tell us more about it.
All right, so I said a lot of it in the post, but sick play initiative, and listen, I'm uncomfortable.
That was my fault, though.
What?
You're uncomfortable.
What you did with your hand?
Yeah,
that was
you
weird.
meant it's you're
Yeah.
uncomfortable doing it.
I said
we
everything.
purposely placed the guest next to Logan. I'm
That wasn't
sorry.
his hand.
Thank you. That's in my contract.
Yeah. So again, it's uncomfortable. Presenting something to you guys to make you feel any sort of way about whether you have to, you don't have to. It's uncomfortable for me because I don't love visiting sick people. Most people don't, but I had a feeling that it was the right thing to do. I'm going with my gut on this. I think I have to push it, because if I don't push it, then I'm not taking it seriously enough. But I don't want to push it too much, again, because I don't want to make you guys annoyed to be in Jubal. So it's got to be the right line. But I think it's important to appreciate our health, especially when we rely on our health to play the game. And I believe that that's the way the universe works. I think that if we show that we care about other people's health, we will merit our own good health. So not only is it selfish to do, but it's also a good thing to do. And at this stage of the game of commissionering, I feel like I don't mind pushing it a little bit and trying to, elevate our credits.
And one thing I'll add to that is that if there's anyone who's on the like, if you just say like, hey, it's not my thing, I'm not going to do it, that's totally fine. But if there's anyone out there who's on the fence about it, you're not going to be thrown into some like situation that you're uncomfortable with by yourself. You're going to be matched up with someone. And by the way, if you are uncomfortable, sign up, message Jordan, and be like, hey, this is not really my thing. I don't really know what to do. Match me up with someone who's a little bit more experienced. That other person will take the lead. You'll show up together. You'll do it together. Like, don't let your either uncertainty on how to do it or your concern that you don't know what to say, what to do. You can definitely be matched up with someone who's
you're along for the ride.
Yeah. And eventually you will get good or at least competent at it. And you'll definitely start to feel more comfortable the more you do it. So if you're unsure, sign up. If you know it's not your thing, that's one thing. But if you're unsure, please sign up. It'll be good. And it's not going to be a huge time. We're not talking hours upon hours. You're talking about
2-3 times a year.
Right. Exactly.
We're dipping our toe into the pool of this mitzvah. This is not a big commitment. We're just doing it because we want to check that box that we did it. And by the way, I'm going to disagree with Logan here. Everyone sign up. Whether you're comfortable or not. None of us are comfortable with it. Just sign up. We'll get it done. You'll get in, you'll get out.
I think the biggest thing is you don't know the impact you can make on another person.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. Like we're not just, we've done so much to impact each other in a very positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of credit to for the babies. And for a couple of years ago, we did the tzedakah to raise money, obviously, in honor of Salem's daughter. And a lot of other organizations that could benefit from our tzedakah. But this is something totally different. The impact could be literally saving a person's life by just being cheered up. By, again, there are people who unfortunately don't have relatives visiting them in the hospital. Yeah, and we could honestly be that light that they need. So this is beautiful. I love it. I appreciate you bringing this in. Guys. And guys, sign up. That's it. You have no other choice.
Yeah, we're going to push. We're going to push for a little bit and then we'll stop.
Jay, you're the best. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Got it.
This is why he's our commissioner, everybody. All right, Davo. What are they supposed to do this week?
What do we got? Obviously, first, as always, you got to hit that like button, share, subscribe. We have all these viewers. We don't know who they are, where they're coming from, because it's definitely more than we have in Jubal. So we appreciate those who've been liking, sharing, and subscribing. It means a lot to us that people actually take some time out to listen to our idiot rambling, and we appreciate it. That's first off. Second of all, big shout out to the two Jubal teams that played on Tuesday night. One was able to come away with the victory. The other one,
that's what happens.
Was not. They didn't play each other though.
Oh, they didn't. Oh, no. Sorry. I thought they did. Like, the two teams who played, one of them won.
It was a tough battle. The Lionbirds, whatever everyone calls his team, we're missing a couple of key players. Me and Gronk. And we unfortunately weren't able to make it to the finals to face off with Dax. But Dax is playing Tuesday night. It is the championship. He did create a super team.
And all of you guys can play on that team, right?
I mean, Zin can do it. Why can't we? But please come out and support them. Even though it is the Tuesday Night League and it doesn't really mean much. I think 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Even though it doesn't really mean much to win the Tuesday Night League, we should still go support them because what we should do. There are no maybe sign-ups this week. We're still depending. But
incorrect. There is a sign-up. We just mentioned it, but sign up for the Beaker Colon.
That also. But for week 11, 12, we're not sure exactly which one we are on. It is a week leak, we think. But in case it's not, there possibly be a sign-up. Zada will post it, obviously, etc. I think that's all we have for this week. Guys, come support your team if you're there. I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody's there because everybody's hurt, injured, or away. Sit or place. But again, don't forget.
We are 3 balls in.
And now we're 3 balls out.
Have a great week, everybody.
3 balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route.